Hey guys, what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to use external JavaScripts. This is very similar to what you see in CSS, where you have an external CSS files, and the benefits are pretty much the same in that in CSS we use external CSS files to keep our web pages clean and to also cut down the weight of the code, if you will. In that, well, weight, we're talking about kilobytes here. In that, if you have an external CSS file or a JavaScript file, all that code is only loaded into the browser's cache once. Whereas if you have the code repeated in many web pages, then that same code gets reloaded over and over again. In today's day of web video and so on, saving 5, 10 kilobytes, 20 kilobytes is probably not such a major issue for most of us. Another advantage, though, of external scripts files or external CSS files is that we can then more easily share that code amongst many different pages. It's just a good way to organize your code, and it will save you headaches in terms of keeping your sites up to date and so on. Now that we've covered the basics, let's just jump into the example and I'll show you how to do it. So we have here our web page. We've seen this before. If I open this up, we've seen this this code in action. And you notice here I have an external.js file. This is the external JavaScript file. At this time, they're not linked and there's no code here, so that's what we're going to do now. All right, I popped into our code editor, and so here's our files over here. Let me just move this into view a bit. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to populate the dom-script.js file with our JavaScript that we now see in our main page here, right? So let's jump into that now. So let's open up dom-script.js. Now, Dreamweaver, the program I'm using now, you don't have to use Dreamweaver, of course, but anyway, it inserts a JavaScript comment here. We got a couple of slashes. A .js file is smart enough to know what's going on here. .js is short for JavaScript, of course. So back in our page, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to simply cut and paste all this JavaScript code, and I'm just going to put it into our DOM script page. Now, as you notice here, I don't have to put the JavaScript block tags as I do here, right? Don't do it. You don't have to do it. You shouldn't do it. It could cause errors. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually create our script block here, our script link here rather. So, and you see this program makes it really easy for us. So we just use the source attribute, and I'm going to link to our DOM script, and I'm going to go language, JavaScript. What else do we need? Well, that's pretty much it. So let's just close this up, and let's launch the page. Oops, a little mistake here. You gotta actually close it like so. So there we go. Now let's load up the page, and we'll see how it goes. There we go. So if we go view source, as you can see now, we just have our link to our external JavaScript libraries, and our page is now able to access those libraries rather easily, just as you would access external CSS files. So now this domscript.js file can be used in multiple pages, and you can put together a real nice library of scripts that you might use in form validation or creating certain types of special widgets and stuff. In fact, many of the pre-packaged JavaScript libraries that we see out there, things like Scriptaculous in jQuery, they're delivered, of course, as external JS files that you just link to your page, and then you access all the functions within these external JS scripts. It's pretty useful, actually. So let me finish this little video by pointing out some obvious things. That first of all, when you're using external JavaScript files, you should put it in between the head tag so that it's loaded at the top of a page before any of the action happens in the body. And also naming conventions, you can use dashes, but you can't have spaces, of course. Same as typical variables, maybe a little bit more flexible. But if you create a name of a file and you link to it and it doesn't work, just change the name up and use conventional rules that you've learned in this course about variable name declarations and so forth. That pretty much covers it. So let's jump to another video.